I took work off so I could read this book. But, you know, time will tell if this will be worth it. I'll be reading it on my Kindle. I actually don't know anything about this book other than 1, there are dragons, and 2, this is a romantasy novel, right? A romantic fantasy. I believe that this is going to be a trilogy. I feel like this is going to age me, but I'm not actually really on TikTok. So I have heard that a lot of people are talking about this book on those sorts of social media platforms. I've kind of been able to escape some of the spoilers, so I'm excited to go into this book really not knowing anything. I think that normally I'm late to the hype train, and yeah, I'm still late to the hype train in this case because everyone else is reading the sequel and here I am just about to start the first one. But you know what? A lot of my friends are reading it, and that includes my friends that don't normally like to read. So to me, that's usually a sign of, okay, hey, like there's a story here that is attracting a lot of people, and I guess I want to know what the hype is about. Hello, it's me from the future. I'm in editing mode, and I realized as I'm reviewing the footage, I never really talked about whether or not this is spoiler free. I would say this is mostly spoiler free. I do talk about the first 5% of the book. I reveal one character's ability, and then I talk about when approximately in the book is the first spice scene. So if those details are important to you, I left a timestamp down below where you can just jump right into my overall thoughts, feelings, and review of the book. This was my first attempt at a reading vlog. I appreciate you bearing with me in the process, so thank you. All right, so this is going to be my battle station for the day. Very serious. Obviously, I'm not going to film myself reading the entire thing, but I do have everything set up, so as I go through, you know, if I find something notable, I'll let y'all know in real time. The most brutally addictive fantasy I've read in a decade. Number 1, New York Times bestselling author Tracy Wolff. All right, Tracy, we'll see about that. Fourth Wing is a non-stop thrilling adventure fantasy set in the brutal and competitive world of a military college for dragon riders. Oh, there you go, dragons. Which includes elements regarding war, battle, hand-to-hand combat, perilous situations, blood, intense violence, brutal injuries, death, poisoning, graphic language, and sexual activities. Readers who may be sensitive to these elements, please take note and prepare to enter... Oh no. Basquiat War College. Okay, so I forgot that in fantasy novels, they like to make up their own words. Maybe that's a real word, and I'm just going to make myself look like an idiot trying to pronounce these without any prior research, but you know what? I'm just going to assume you're a forgiving audience, so bear with me.
So seeing as, you know, you are the author, you are the source.
I'm gonna get quizzed, aren't I? Okay.
I just want to know if we can set the record straight on, like, maybe this is how we pronounce them. The war college they attend.
So I say it's Basquiat.
Basquiat. Oh my gosh, I was totally off. I said Basquiat. And that's...
Basquiat. Yeah, we're just gonna roll with it. A dragon without its rider is a tragedy. A rider without their dragon is dead. All right. Okay, so I'm about 4% into the story. The language is very accessible, so it doesn't seem like a complex fantasy world, if that makes sense. Violet Sorengale, she's the main character. She's described to be about 20 years old, and she is going through this conscription process through this war college where basically her mother voluntells her that she needs to basically spend the next 3 years becoming a dragon rider, although the odds aren't very good, so I guess there are different trials. In this first trial, they have to walk across this long, what is described to be kind of like a bridge, but it's a precarious bridge because it's 200 feet off the ground, 18 inches wide, and it's windy, and I guess 15% of the candidates die in this portion alone. So yeah, Violet's not feeling too confident about her chances. She is described to not be quite cut out physically, or I guess what you see typical for writers. She's described as small, fragile, frail. I think we just met a potential love interest, and I say that because Violet describes him as the most exquisite man she's ever seen. As a reader, that's generally a little flag that this person is a potential love interest, because of course it has to be the most attractive person this person has ever met. Oh, also he has gold flecked onyx eyes, and if they're not violet eyes, they're eyes that have gold in them. Tall, dark, handsome. Without even knowing anything else about him, he's probably a baddie, so I'm excited to see where this goes. Flaming hot, scorching hot, gets you into trouble and you like it level of hot. Ooh. I think I stopped to give you guys an update too early because we just found out that really hot guy that I just talked about is actually Xaden, the exact man Violet's sister had warned her to stay away from before she started the trial. The chances of him being a love interest just went up by like at least 80%, because why not? I mean, I feel dumb for not seeing it just ahead of time, but yeah. He will kill you the second he finds out who you are. Calling it enemies to lovers. Here we go. If my math is correct, which it probably is not, but if it is, my money is on enemies to lovers. This Xaden character is going to be the love interest. Yep. It's just gonna happen that way. His glaring gaze strokes over me like he's memorizing every detail or looking for any weakness. Gaze strokes. Yeah, there are a lot of ellipses in this so far, but you know what? Maybe it's just a style choice. That's all right. We'll just keep cruising. So we are on chapter 8, about 18% way through the book. We just had another interaction with Violet and Xaden. Yeah, there is some tension between them. Oh, so this was the interaction where it is revealed that his special ability is shadow wielding. And what is it about tall, dark, handsome men with onyx gold-flecked eyes having shadow powers? Like, a little bit on the nose, but I'll let it slide. I am actually enjoying the story more than I thought I would at this point. I mean, the writing isn't the most well-crafted thing I've ever read, but you know, when I just step back to kind of enjoy the story itself, I'm having a good time. So it's been a couple hours since I started. I'm about 40% way through the book. I'm gonna keep reading tonight. This just might be the last time I do an update in this setup. The sun's starting to go down. It's almost time to make dinner, but yeah, I'm definitely gonna keep reading. I'm over halfway through the book right now, and my random chaotic thoughts at the moment are, I love the dragons. There's one character where every time they walk into a scene, I just want them to stop talking. And the plot is pretty fast-paced, actually, and that's good in the sense that it's keeping me engaged. I'm wanting to know what happens next. But the downside is that it doesn't give you a lot of time to really ruminate on the plot holes or inconsistencies. But I'm having fun still. I definitely don't think I'll be getting through the whole book tonight. I like to go to bed kind of early, but we'll see. I'm still going to read a bit more. We'll see how much more I can get through before I call it a day. I got about 70% way through the book last night before I got too tired to keep going. I plan on finishing up the rest of the book today. It's another cool, rainy day out, perfect for cozy reading. My thoughts, now that I've been able to sleep and ruminate on what I read so far, do I think that this is supreme, world-class writing? No. Do I think the character development and the world building are a notch above the rest? No. But am I having fun? Yes, I am having fun. If I don't think too deeply about the writing, I'm able to kind of enjoy the story and forgive some of the small quirks. The author does utilize a more contemporary language that I think might feel more out of place in a traditional fantasy novel. I do think this is more of a fantasy light book, maybe even more of a contemporary romance in a fantasy setting, more than it is a true fantasy book. But in that sense, I actually understand some of the mass appeal and why so many people have really fallen in love with this story and the characters. It has some of the popular tropes like enemies to lovers. It has a strong female main character. It has dragons. So yeah, I can understand why people like this book. I'm able to forgive a lot of the quirks about the writing because at the end of the day, I just don't think this book is that serious. I don't think that everything we read has to be world-changing. Sometimes people are just allowed to have fun, and that's it. There's nothing deeper than that. So I'm excited to keep reading, and I will update as I continue along. So we're about 75% way through the book, and I think we are going to be getting our first real spicy scene. All right, well, I just finished Fourth Wing, and that ending was a lot to process. Overall, I was satisfied with the ending in the sense that I know that there will be other books, and where I'm at right now, I am looking forward to reading the next one. If I had to give this book a rating, I think it would round up to a 4, like a 3.75, but like based on my like immediate post-book vibes, I think I would round it up to a 4. Was it a cliched, beat for beat, predictable, romantic beach read? I mean, basically. At the end of the day, I don't think this is, the best book that I read this year, but I definitely enjoyed it. I had a good time, and sometimes that is enough.